Hey everybody, and welcome back. Right, well, we're going to start and build the engine proper. I went to Dick's and he honed that big end eye for me, or the inner race anyway. Everything went well with my hospital visits. Got the scan and everything done, and the urologist looked at it and said everything was fine. So that's good. But other than that, my good luck continues. But the only thing I was going to tell you today was that it was very cold last week, as I mentioned. Today's Monday. This week we're down to be absolutely freezing. It's going to be well below freezing point. So several minus degrees C and down in the single digits Fahrenheit for virtually all of the week, 4 or 5 days. And guess what? Last night our heating packed up. So I've got to call in and people are going to come and have a look at it this morning. Most of the heating here, central heating that is forced air, which is rubbish. I mean, it really is. It's like the thing I have here. The one here is fine because I keep it on a lot, but with hot air it's warm while the hot air is blowing, and then as soon as the blower, it gets up to temperature, the blower switches off, it immediately just starts to cool down because there's no heat coming from anywhere. There's no radiators or anything that actually have some heat in them that they can be putting out. So last night the heating came on, and you hear it come on, and what have you. It's down in the basement, and it's got a big, call it what is it, squirrel drum or whatever fan, like a big drum thing. So all you could hear was and I go down and look, the fan's not turning. By the time I switched everything off, you could start to smell that electrical burning smell. So I guess the motor's packed up in it. So typical, isn't it? We get to the coldest, this incredibly cold spell, and the heating goes off. So anyway, it's nice and warm in the garage. I'm here, it's 60 odd degrees, and Linda's up at the house with a woolly hat on and umpteen layers of clothes, waiting for the repairmen to come. So anyway, that's it. So I'm going to spend a bit of time laying things out, but there is our bearing, nicely in there, just a really nice sliding fit, no play at all actually, so that's perfect. So we'll get that pressed into these, making sure of course on this one we get it lined up with the hole here. So what we'll do is we'll mark this where the hole is, so we can get it pressed in obviously from this side. So we'll mark where the hole is here, press that in, and then press the other side in. So before I do that though, I'm going to get all the little bits laid out ready to go. Okay, so let's press on. Right, been going through and getting things ready, and what I've just done is recheck the fit of this in there, because that's got holes in it, gets fed from the pump, and that then goes into these holes here to feed the big end. So according to Rupert ratio, the fit in there, the clearance should be 2 to 6 thou. So I've just measured everything and it's 3 thou, so that's fine. And then I remember that one job we had to do. I want to get something, so we might as well do it now before we get stuck in. Is, you may remember, the end of that's damaged, so I got another bush. So let's press this bush out, press that one in, and probably have to ream this, I think. Alright, let's see about this. So I've got a piece to go in there a bit, goes in about an inch. That's tight. There's that out of there. All we're going to do now is press the new one back in. Right, well, I've warmed this up a bit. Not as much as it looks, it's just there was some oil on it. That's more like it. I bet that is catching on this. Yep. That is now crimping on this. Let me take a few thou more off this. Right, let's see if it'll finish off now. Just put there we go. Flat, get it flat in there. I measured how much it sticks out the other end, so I can check that. Come on, down you come down. That's it, all the way in. Alright, we'll let that cool down, then we'll see if it'll fit on the gear shaft, on the main shaft. Right, well, we're starting off with a bit of good news. The repairman's just been, and it was just a capacitor on the electric motor that drives the squirrel cage. That's what they call that type of fan. Alright, so I've put this in here because just won't go in. So this is 746 or whatever. It's just under 3/4. So I've got a 3/4 ream here. Let's see what's what. Oh, by the way, it's stuck out to the end exactly the right amount. 410, 405 thou. Right, there it is out the other end. See, there's not a lot of stuff on it. And then hopefully this is just the right fit. Not too tight, not too slack. The old Goldilocks job. Oh, that's lovely. There's nothing there. That's perfect. Okay, that'll do. Can't have something to eat. Right, well, I've had something to eat. Got this put in here. I don't know if you can see it, that mark is where the hole is. I'll put this flat so I can push through against it. So here's that with the mark there. So now, I don't know, can you see we got that lined up? Well, it's going in anyway. God, this bottom cross piece bounces, or bends I should say. You know what, I need to put that on something. Make sure I take your fingers out of the way as well. Right, that should be it. There we go. That's flush with there. Right, let's go and test this. Alright, so as I mentioned, there's 4 holes that feed from round the other side. So I've put a bit of tape over 3 of them. Oh, I'm forgetting I've got to fill that like that. There we go. It's coming out that one. So it's going in the other side and it's coming out that side. Took a while because I had to, of course, fill up the sludge trap. Very good. Now let's put the other flywheel on. Right, so now we come to the fiddly bit. No, really I'm going to do this the other way up, so this doesn't fall off. Might be better off doing this the other way up. Oh. Right. Where's my big thing gone? Just want to get this to hold it. I would like one of those presses you work with your foot, you know, oil, air over oil one. Right, now then, we've got to get our lines put in order. Excuse my head. Good actually. Hang on a second. I just had to get my torch so I could see them. Oh, that piece won't fit on there. Onto there. This over here. That looks to be. About right. Okay, all we've got to do now is true it up. Alright, well, it's Wednesday and things are not going well. Woke up yesterday morning about 6:15 and it suddenly struck me I couldn't hear the heating. I go downstairs, look at the thermostat, it was 45 degrees. What's that? About 7 degrees centigrade. Went in the basement, sure enough, that circulation fan isn't working again. So I phoned up the people who service, well, who'd come out the day before, spoke to the chap there on their emergency line. He said, okay, give me the, it can't have been just the capacitor, it must be the motor. Give me the serial number of the furnace and I'll go, as soon as the supply place opens, I'll get a new electric motor and I'll come straight round and do it. So he did that, got it started, ran fine. Last night, every time I woke up 2 or 3 times, I could hear the heating running. Got up this morning, heating was running, but it was cold. And go downstairs and it's only like, I don't know, I think it was 58 degrees in the house. What's that? 16 degrees, 10 degrees in the house. Not because the heating wasn't working, it was working fine. The furnace was on all the time. It was -8 degrees outside. That's 40 degrees below freezing. That's what, 9 into 40 goes 4.5 times, but -22, -23 degrees centigrade. So the heating's banging away. Our house is quite large. It's a lot of it's open plan and it's got sort of tiled and wooden floors, so heating just can't keep up with it. So that's brilliant. It's nice and warm in the workshop. Then on top of that, I've been trying to true this and I could not get the damn thing trued. So finally, I'm looking at it and I've got it doing it in the lathe as I usually do. I look at that. The hole in there just isn't round. So every time I take it out and make an adjustment, put it back in, of course, it's going on the centre thing slightly differently. So I wish I'd have noticed that when I had the flywheel split, because then I could have put actually each flywheel into the lathe and redone them with a new centre to get it to the right, to the 60 degrees. So we're going to have to do the whole, might as well do both of them. So anyway, both ends are 3/4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a collet, do each end, put it in the mill, because we're not going to do any heavy drilling. Put it in the mill. I mean, I'll be putting it in the mill. That's the important one to get this one done. That one looks alright, but I'll redo it, just touch it up. I'll get the centre finder out and we'll get the exact centre on that, make sure it's all, you know, level and vertical, and find the exact centre and then give it a drill. just a little bit to get it round again. So let me get that set up. So I thought, let me put it in this half of the case so I can measure, because I think what's his name, Rupert Ratio said there should be 4. There's no end float because the crank is pulled into that bearing with the nut, but apparently there's supposed to be 4 thou between the bearing face on this flywheel and the bush. So I thought, let me put it in here and then I can make some measurements from the face here on the other side. So put it on, and there was no gap. If I put the 2 halves together, it pinched up. So I used my proper extractor to pull it off, and look at this. The bearing moves now. You remember that bearing was wrecked? I guess it must have damaged the case as well. So we can Loctite it in, that's not a big problem, but it's just another annoyance. So anyway, I'm going to knock off because that's definitely enough for today. Alright, now normally I don't edit out my mistakes, but I've just cut out a load of video because I made a complete balls up of this. I don't know where I went wrong, but when I did the hole in the top with the starter drill to get my 60-degree hole, I was miles out. I don't know what happened, but anyway. So I've bronzed up the hole I did. Okay, don't worry, this is the bearing surface down here. That's just where the where the rotor for the alternator would go on it, but now of course the little sleeve thing is going to go on. What's the word? The little tapered sleeve to lock the rotor for the electronic ignition is going to go on. So I think I'm all set now. Oh, I just stuck something in my leg there. Hope you can see that 0, 0, 0 there. 0, 0, 0. Oh, come on, don't you change again. 0, 0 across that way. Every time I move this, it changes. I had this, it was all set. 0 in it. There. 0, 0, 0. So this is completely square, so that's completely vertical. Now to get it started, I put a, because this is 3/4, I put a 3/4 collet in there just to get it roughly right. But now, again, you're probably not going to be able to read this, but I've actually done it properly with this thing. It's 0 all the way around. Alright? Yes, it is. So what I'm going to do now is check it here as well to make absolutely sure this is centered. Then we'll put an end mill in and just flatten this bronze off. Then we will drill a hole in with, I'm only going to use, I used too big a starter bit last time, took too big a hole out. This time we're just going to do it with a small one. That is going to give us enough, because that's about as big as it is at the other end. Alright, so it's actually Thursday afternoon. That video I did yesterday, the last little bit was under the heater, so it would have made a roaring noise. So I switched the heater off. Told myself, don't forget to switch it back on. Forgot to switch it back on. Came out this morning, it was 40 degrees. So I didn't come back out till this afternoon. A little bit of fancy setup in the lathe, and I redid this with an exactly 60-degree taper on it, so it'll fit in the end of that. Right, so there it is. And I sort of had a little measure as best I can. Obviously it's not particularly accurate, trying to Measure that like that. So the what? The 1, 2, 3, the fourth thing. It's reading 270. I say this isn't really a very accurate way to measure it, but the other time it was well off. 1, 2, 3. 270. I'm pretty confident this is right. I tell you what though, I hate using, I don't know what it is, I'm going to have a word with Dick. What have I done with it? What have I done? Anyway, these things, I mean, that's a best test, which I understand are quite good. I just could not get away with it. Fortunately, I have a Mitutoyo one, which isn't as good a one as that, and I was able to use that. I really don't like, I don't know, they just, I can't get the pointer to sort of go where I want it. So anyway, that's that done. That's the end of the day. So Saturday I'll come out and we'll see if we can get this damn thing trued up, and tomorrow I will go out and get some of the green Loctite stuff, the bearing locking compound. So I'll see you then. Right, now I think I mentioned, I really don't know where I am this week, it's gone really weird. I'm going to write a little note at the beginning to say, excuse me, this is a bit disjointed. Anyway, so that's all that done and in there. Now, as I say, according to Rupert Murdoch then, Rupert ratio, there should be a 1/4 thou gap between the bottom flywheel there and the bush. But I don't know how you're supposed to measure that. So I got thinking about it, I thought, I know what I'll do. So I made up a dummy bearing, right? So the inside, now the diameters are slightly smaller to make it a nice easy fit on, but that is exactly 17 millimeters, the same as the bearing. So now, see, I can put that on there, and I can put this on, and they'll come apart, and I can measure how much the crankshaft will move up and down. So let's put that on. Get it on this dowel at this side, which is a little tight. I'll bolt it down, but just for now, let's see if my idea works. So, well, it turns, but there is absolutely no, there's no movement in that. So that means we're going to have to, hang on, let me put some nuts on here because you never know, this might even pinch it up. It's Saturday, by the way. Finally got through that cold spell. I was in single digits last night as well, I think. Hang on, I've got some... I just had some bloody Allen bolts to fit that. Who knows? Because Rupert mentions putting at least 3 bolts in to pinch it up. Yeah, where's the Allen? Oh, there they are, over there. Okay. So there's that. There's that. Nope. Won't turn at all. So that means the crankshaft's too wide. So that means we're going to put it in the press it down on the crank pin. Now there is plenty of movement actually side to side for the conrod. So let me go and do that. Of course, if I press this together again, I'm going to have to true it again. But let's just, for now, it's heading towards the side. Let me whip this out of here, press it up slightly and stick it back in. Alright, so I have set this up so that I'm pushing the flywheel with the oil feed down and pushing the pin a little bit further out the other side. Because, you know, we tested that the oil lines lined up, or the oil holes. I don't want to move anything here. The other thing you may notice, is it in frame? Yes. I welded a couple of pieces of plate, one on either side, to try and stop this from flexing. I don't know if it is that, it might be the top bit. I could get myself another press, but I don't know. Anyway, let's see if we can push this down a bit. See how this works. See, something is still moving. Something isn't rigid. There's all this movement. And we're not moving the pin at all. Yeah, I can feel it in the handle. I don't know if you'll hear it. But I can feel it when it moves. There's nothing moving yet. Still nothing. I had a comment from someone who'd just done a B40 and it said it took him 15 ton in the press to get the pin to come out, so he was going to try shocking the next one. Things are bending, I can feel it, but I can't feel this moving. What the hell is moving in this? It's obviously not very rigid. God, still nothing. There, you might even have heard that. That moved. Everything's still fine. Let's go and try that. Alright, let's go over there. So that's set in there. Goes on there. There, excuse me. Get these bolt holes lined up. Come on, bolt holes. Oh, that won't even go on the bloody bolts. The hell's going on now? You might hear my exasperation. I don't know what the bloody hell the problem is now. There's that one. There's that one. There's the two of them. Hey, lad. These are things I said to try us, as the phrase goes. So that's alright at the moment. Wouldn't it be amazing? And wouldn't I deserve it if when I sort of press this, either the first time or a second time, when I check I've got 4 thou, so I don't have to bother with shims. But things like that don't happen in real life, do they? Certainly not to me. Did I ever tell you about the time I went to our trials banquet and they had door prizes, so they gave everybody a raffle ticket as they came through the door, and then at the end they started drawing them out, and he's pulling them out and give people are going up and getting prizes, and then he says, okay, well, we've got more prizes than people, so we'll start going through the tickets again. And I'm still sitting there holding my ticket. Yeah, righty ho, righty ho. That. Well, at least it turns. Oh yeah, there is. I think there's more than 4 thou though. I'll have to set it down. Oh, might be able to get a feeler gauge in there. Hold on. Well, part of the course I can't find my little set of feeler gauges, but fortunately I have some strips. There we go. That's a 4 thou. Yeah, that goes in easily. That's a 5 thou. That goes in easily. That's 6. That goes in easily. Oh, let me go and see if I can find some more. Okay, it is 6 plus 5 plus 10. That's 21 thou. Oh, yeah. So that would be a 17 thou feeler gauge. Unless I try to just push it back a little bit. See, the thing is, you don't want too big a gap on the other side, because don't forget we're actually feeding onto the outside of that bushing. So that's why it's got to be a close fit, because when the oil comes out, it's not going down a passageway, it's just squirting out and then going into another hole in there. So you don't want it to be able to get out. So you want this to be a reasonably tight fit, and you also, you know, don't want to have huge gaps at either end. I think that what I will do is go and have something to eat, and come back and just try with the press to just get it to go a little bit. I don't want to be going backwards and forwards with this, pressing it one way, pressing the other way, but we'll give that a try and see what happens. Alright, well, I decided that trying to put this in the press was too haphazard. I mean, you see how it jumps. So I thought maybe I could put it in here and knock it through. I've managed to knock it through a couple of thou, but that's all. So lunchtime I checked at McMaster-Carr. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I couldn't get any of the green Loctite locally, so I'm going to have to send off for some. So I checked, and they have shims with 1-inch centres. I can get what I need from them, and if I order it this weekend it'll be on Tuesday. So I'm going to put this back in the lathe to see if we've untrued it, and then we'll put it back in the cases and measure exactly what we need for shims, and then that's it for this week. Right, I just spent another extremely annoying half hour trying to true up those flywheels again, because they had moved. So I've decided just before I knock off for the week, I'll go back to basics. Right, so look, this is set on the very point of the centre in the tailstock. That is running absolutely right to that. Okay, let me switch you off. Now this 3-jaw chuck is the set right type. It's got 4, it's sort of loose on this backing plate, and it's got 4 adjusters so you can move the actual chuck on the backing plate. So I've just set that up exactly to no run out. And then when I'd done that, I redid the other centre. So again, that's on the point. It's absolutely spot on. So the last thing to try. So of course the last thing we need to know is that centre and that centre are exactly in the right place to each other. And the way you do this, I saw a fella do this on YouTube years ago, is you get a little ruler, you put it in there, and what we're going to do is bring the points together. Now if, say this point was higher than that one, it would push it that way. And similarly, if this point was further this way, because it would go like that. So let's see what happens. Right, it has, look, it's moved. Well, has it? Or has that just come up? I need to look. Actually, no, it hasn't. I don't think I was holding it straight, was I? Well, that looks off up and down, doesn't it? Well, if they aren't right, no wonder I can't get this bloody... Oh, sorry, can't get this through. Let me... Well, I can't make it up and down any different, can I? It's got to be in... Yes, that's straightened up. So that is out. Even though that's running perfectly, we're a fraction out, but we're dead square that way. This must be a fraction of a thou, or at least I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So I'm going to have another go with this crank. Huh. I mean, they look, it might be slightly that way to it, but up and down, I would say that was spot on the centre of that up and down, but maybe very fractionally. Let me get him. No, I don't think there's enough in there to make any difference. All right, let me put the crank back in. All right. I haven't been filming all the backwards and forwards, wedges, vices, truing, in here, feeler gauges, but I think I've about got it. That turns nicely, considering there isn't a bearing in this side. You know, and it's not right to the exact tolerances, so it's got a little bit of movement in it. But it, oh, I broke my fingernail now. But it turns fine, and it has 5. I think what's his name said 3 to 6, and he said 4, but that has. Get a 5 thou feeler gauge in, so I'm calling that it. If I run it and it blows up, well, sod it. To be honest, this engine's just about made me decide I don't want to do any more British engines. Thank you, heating. So anyway, I'll order the bearing locking stuff. That'll come on Tuesday. So I think what I'm going to do, what we'll do on Monday when we come in, I'll take the crank back out so it's light. We're going to put this in here. I'm saying in here, you can't see in here, can you? We're going to put the cases in here so I can make the spaces that go in there. And also I have the far side of the bash plate to make. So with the cases in, I can do that. And then when the green stuff comes, we'll build the bottom end. I've got to get some 5/16 BSC bolts for here. The couple I've got, which are actually for putting carb manifolds on, are just too short, and then there's a longer one down here, and I don't know where they are. I'll search for them. I might be able to find some more. I don't know. Are they longer? No, they're the same ones. Alright, so that's it. The end of a piss awful week. So that's your lot. I'll see you on Monday. Until then, you stay safe and enjoy yourselves.